August 16, 1977. Memphis wakes to heavy summer air, thick with the scent of magnolia and the shock of an unthinkable loss. News bulletins break across radio stations. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, has died at the age of 42. Outside Graceland, the mansion Elvis bought in 1957, fans begin to gather even before dawn. Candles flicker in the sticky heat. Some sing softly, others simply stand in stunned silence. The world's most electrifying performer, whose voice once seemed powerful enough to bend culture itself, has fallen silent. Yet, while the global audience mourns the entertainer, a quieter drama unfolds behind the mansion's gates. What will happen to Elvis's fortune, his music rights, and the home that symbolizes his meteoric rise? Few realize that a single legal document, signed 4 years earlier, will ignite decades of fascination, and a persistent rumor that somewhere a different will lies hidden. Elvis was not careless about his legacy. On March 3, 1973, he executed a formal will in Shelby County, Tennessee. The original, witnessed and notarized, left the entire estate, including Graceland, publishing rights, and personal effects, to 3 people: Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, as executor and trustee; Minnie Mae Presley, his grandmother; Lisa Marie Presley, his only child. Priscilla Presley, from whom Elvis had divorced in 1973, was not a beneficiary, standard practice after a divorce and something both understood. When Elvis died, Vernon filed the will for probate. The estate's appraised value was around $5 million, but debts, taxes, and future royalties complicated matters. Vernon, already in poor health, would shoulder the immediate responsibility of keeping the empire afloat. Court records show no sign of a second hidden will, yet fans, and later tabloids, would seize on the idea that Elvis, ever unpredictable, might have left private instructions tucked away in a Bible, a safety deposit box, or some secret compartment in Graceland. Vernon Presley died less than 2 years after his son, passing the executorship to the next generation. Here enters Priscilla Presley, whose role would prove decisive. Though divorced, she was fiercely protective of Elvis's memory and their daughter's future. With advisors, she founded Elvis Presley Enterprises in 1979, transforming Graceland into a museum and business hub. This move was revolutionary. At the time, Graceland cost nearly $500,000 a year to maintain, and Lisa Marie's trust had dwindled to barely a few $100,000 after taxes and legal fees. Priscilla's strategy: opening the mansion to paying visitors, licensing merchandise, and carefully guarding Elvis's image, would soon turn a struggling estate into a financial powerhouse worth hundreds of millions. Importantly, she did this under the authority of the only will recognized by Tennessee law, the 1973 document. No secret codicil emerged, despite the Presley family's extensive audits and the intense scrutiny of the probate court. By the mid-1980s, Graceland had become one of America's top tourist attractions, drawing hundreds of thousands of visitors a year. Elvis Presley Enterprises expanded into global merchandising, film licensing, and music reissues. The estate that once teetered on insolvency grew into a juggernaut, proof of Priscilla's business acumen and the undying devotion of Elvis's fan base. But success attracted rumor. Tabloids of the 1980s thrived on sensational Elvis stories: secret love children, staged sightings, and yes, a mysterious hidden will. Some claimed it named Priscilla as a primary heir after all. Others insisted it, directed that Graceland be turned into a hospital for sick children or a refuge for musicians. None produced evidence. Why did these myths resonate? Because Elvis himself was a man of paradox, deeply generous, impulsive, and capable of sudden changes of heart. Fans who adored his spontaneity found it easy to believe he might rewrite his legacy in some dramatic, clandestine way. The rumor's origins trace to a few key tabloid articles in the early 1980s. One magazine cited an unnamed former associate who claimed Elvis scribbled a New Testament in the final months of his life. Another alleged that a sealed envelope sat in a Memphis bank vault waiting for Lisa Marie's 25th birthday. Investigative journalists and Presley family lawyers repeatedly debunked these claims. Probate records are public. No sealed supplements were filed. Every item in Graceland was cataloged after Elvis's death, down to stray receipts and stage outfits. No alternative testament surfaced. Yet the story stuck, recycled in books, talk shows, and fan conventions. Each retelling grew more elaborate. Some versions suggested the secret will contained shocking revelations about Priscilla, either cutting her out entirely or elevating her to sole guardian of the Presley fortune. The lack of evidence only seemed to add to the allure. While conspiracy theories swirled, real legal and financial challenges continued. Lisa Marie came of age in 1993 and inherited the estate, estimated then at over $100 million. Managing such wealth proved complex. Over the years, various business decisions, some profitable, others risky, led to restructurings and lawsuits. In 2005, she sold an 85% stake in Elvis Presley Enterprises' core business to a private company, retaining Graceland itself and some assets. After Lisa Marie's untimely death in 2023, new headlines focused on her daughter Riley Keough, now the sole trustee. Again, tabloid speculation about hidden instructions resurfaced, even though every transfer of authority followed well-documented legal steps. Why does the secret will myth endure? Partly because Elvis represents more than music. He is a cultural archetype. The poor boy who conquered the world, the charismatic rebel who fused gospel, blues, and country into a new sound, the generous friend who gave away Cadillacs and jewelry with a grin. A man like that, many feel, must have left behind something mysterious, some private message, some final twist worthy of his legend. In a way, the rumor itself has become part of the Presley story. Each anniversary of his death brings candlelight, vigils at Graceland, fresh flowers on his grave, and renewed speculation on internet forums. The myth keeps Elvis in conversation, ensuring that the king never truly leaves the building. So, what ultimately did Elvis Presley's secret will reveal about Priscilla? Nothing, because no such document exists. What is shocking, if you use step back, is how Priscilla Presley, once simply the ex-wife of a global superstar, safeguarded his estate, preserved Graceland, and secured their daughter's future. Without her vision, Elvis's legacy might have faded into mismanaged debt. Instead, it thrives, inspiring new generations of musicians and fans. Elvis often said, "Values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them all over everything you do." His fingerprints remain everywhere, in rock and gospel music, in the memories of millions, and in the thriving home at 3764 Elvis Presley Boulevard. The king may have left the stage, but his true will, his enduring gift, was never hidden in a vault. It lives on in the music, the generosity, and the lasting devotion of those who still gather under the Memphis moonlight, candles glowing, to say simply, "Thank you, Elvis." Elvis Presley's life has always felt larger than any single ending. Even after exploring the intricacies of his will and the myth of a hidden document, there's more to the story. Threads that stretch into the decades after his passing and continue to shape the Presley legacy today. When Graceland first opened to the public in 1982, skeptics wondered if fans would still care 5 years after his death. The answer was immediate and overwhelming. People lined up around the block, some traveling thousands of miles just to step into the house where Elvis spent his happiest moments. That first summer alone, over 300,000 visitors came through the gates. What few realized then was that this decision, driven by Priscilla Presley and a small team of advisors, ensured that Elvis's estate would not just survive, but thrive for generations. Priscilla's vision was not about turning Elvis into a static museum piece. She understood that the king of rock and roll represented an evolving cultural phenomenon. Under her guidance, Graceland became a living landmark. Concerts, anniversary vigils, and worldwide satellite events turned Memphis into a pilgrimage site for music lovers. The revenue from these activities not only stabilized the estate's finances but funded the careful restoration of Elvis's home, his costumes, and even the classic cars that still sparkle beneath the Memphis sun. Meanwhile, Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's only child, grew into her own artistry. Fans who visited Graceland in the 1990s and 2000s sometimes caught a quiet glimpse of her strolling the grounds, a reminder that Elvis's presence was more than a memory. Lisa Marie's music carried echoes of her father's intensity while forging a path distinctly her own. Through triumphs and tragedies, she protected her father's image with remarkable resolve, ensuring that the business empire remained true to his spirit. But the fascination with a secret will never fully disappeared. Every few years, a fresh rumor surfaces. Claims of long-lost letters, mysterious safety deposit boxes, or whispered confessions from supposed insiders. Historians and legal experts repeatedly point to the same conclusion. No credible evidence has ever emerged. Yet the idea persists because Elvis himself cultivated mystery during his lifetime. He loved a good prank, enjoyed code names when traveling, and valued privacy even as he lived in the glare of fame. It's easy for admirers to imagine that a man so full of surprises might have left one final twist. This enduring intrigue has inspired countless documentaries, books, and fan theories. Some speculate that Elvis might have written personal notes to Lisa Marie hidden in undiscovered places at Graceland. Others believe a separate trust was quietly established to benefit charities he admired, waiting to be uncovered. Whether or not these notions hold truth, they speak to something deeper. Fans want to believe that Elvis still has more to give. The Presley estate has learned to embrace this curiosity without exploiting it. Modern exhibits at Graceland occasionally feature newly unearthed artifacts, handwritten lyrics, candid photographs, rare recordings that give visitors a fresh perspective without fueling unfounded myths. Each discovery reminds the world that Elvis was, at heart, a devoted father, a generous friend, and a relentless creative force. Perhaps the real secret is that Elvis's legacy was never meant to be locked away in legal documents. His music, charisma, and compassion belong to everyone who continues to find meaning in his songs. From That's All Right to Suspicious Minds, each performance captures a piece of his soul far more powerful than any rumored testament. As we reflect on these decades of devotion, it becomes clear why the legend of a hidden will resonates so strongly. It represents the hope that there's always another encore, another revelation waiting in the wings. And in a way, there is. Every time a new listener discovers his music, every time a family walks through the doors of Graceland, Elvis lives again. So as the lights dim on this story, imagine the quiet of the meditation garden at dusk. The marble markers glimmer in the soft glow, and visitors stand in silence, some with tears, others with smiles. They don't need proof of a secret document to feel close to him. The king's true final wish, though never written in any hidden will, seems clear enough: to keep sharing joy, rhythm, and a little bit of magic with the world, forever. Thanks for watching until the end, and for keeping Elvis's spirit alive every time you listen. Remember and celebrate the King of Rock and Roll.